Please don't forget subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified of new daily videos.
I've always been drawn to the static, to the spaces between the stations. Most people hear white noise, I hear potential. An amateur radio operator, I spend most of my nights scanning frequencies, listening to the world's hidden whispers, numbers, stations, distant shortwave, the occasional phantom signal from a forgotten satellite. It's a niche hobby, I know, but it led me to something I can't explain, something I wish I'd never found. My county has its share of local legends, mostly about forgotten logging trails and creepy old mansions. But the one that always snagged my attention was the Whisper Ridge Observatory. Perched on Mount Cinder, a forgotten peak deep in the Alleghenies, it had been abandoned since the late 70s. Officially, budget cuts. Unofficially, stories of the lead researcher, a Dr. Emanuel Schuster, vanishing without a trace, and a rash of hikers and local campers reporting extreme disorientation, vivid hallucinations, or simply never coming back. I'd spent months cross-referencing old newspaper archives, local forum posts, and even obscure academic papers. And what I found was chilling. There was a direct, undeniable correlation between reported disappearances and madness, and periods of intense atmospheric interference or unusual electromagnetic activity originating from Mount Cinder. It wasn't about falling into something, it was about listening to something. The observatory wasn't just a relic, it was a beacon or maybe a receiver. My friend Lilian has a similar appreciation for the macabre, albeit from an urban exploration angle. When I showed her my research, her initial skepticism gave way to a flicker of genuine interest. "So, you're saying people got tuned out?" she asked, a wry grin on her face. "You want to go ghost hunting with a walkie-talkie, Neil?" "I want to go investigating," I corrected, grabbing my portable SDR kit. "We hike up, set up camp near the observatory, and see if this Mount Cinder hums on more than just wind." It was supposed to be an adventure, a blend of her thrill-seeking and my morbid curiosity. We packed my old Subaru on a Friday afternoon. Tents, sleeping bags, enough MREs to survive a small apocalypse, and of course my carefully assembled software-defined radio gear. Lilian even brought her drone, hopping for some atmospheric shots. Mount Cinder lived up to its name. The old logging road was barely passable, requiring us to park a good 3 miles from the summit and hike the rest. The air grew colder, thinner as we climbed. The silence was the first thing that struck me, a profound, heavy quiet that felt less like an absence of sound and more like a presence. Even the birds seemed muted. We reached the observatory an hour before sunset. It was a skeletal beast against the darkening sky, a central concrete building with shattered windows, flanked by 2 immense, rusted parabolic dishes like blind eyes staring into the heavens. The wind whistled through the gaps, a mournful sound that seemed to carry 100 different echoes. It smelled of decay and ozone. "Creepy," Lilian murmured, dropping her pack. "Definitely gets the vibe right." We set up our camp 50 yards from the main building, just out of the wind's direct path but close enough for me to get a clear line of sight for my antenna. I unfolded the directional antenna, connecting it to my laptop and the SDR. Lilian started a small fire, more for comfort and light than warmth, as we ate our bland MREs. The glow of the fire seemed swallowed by the vast, encroaching darkness. As twilight deepened into pitch black, I began my sweep. Initially, it was just the usual array of distant FM stations, police chatter, and the occasional ham radio operator from hundreds of miles away. Nothing unusual. Lilian watched me, a faint smirk on her face, probably ready to say, "I told you so." Then I found it, a frequency that was pure static but different. It wasn't white noise, it was textured, like rubbing 2 pieces of sandpaper together but amplified somehow inside my head. I put on my headphones, trying to isolate it. Lilian nudged me. "Hear anything interesting, Neil?" I pulled off my headphones. "Hear what?" "That whistling like a high-pitched drone. It sounds like it's coming from the observatory." My blood ran cold. My radio was picking up a direct frequency, but Lilian was hearing something acoustically. The sound was bleeding into the environment. The humming grew, a deep, resonant thrum that vibrated through the ground beneath us. It felt like the entire mountain was holding its breath. Then through the static on my radio, I heard it clearly. My name, not my voice, but a strange, distorted echo. "Neil," it rasped, drawn out and guttural like a dying machine. My stomach churned. It felt like my own internal monologue had been externalized and twisted into something monstrous. Lilian gasped. "It's saying your name, Neil, how?" Her flashlight beam stabbed at the darkness of the observatory, but the vast dishes seemed to drink the light, their shadows stretching like grasping claws. "It's just interference," I stammered, though my hands were trembling. "A fluke." But even as I said it, I didn't believe it. I fiddled with the antenna, trying to break the connection to find a different frequency, but it was locked on. "Lilian," the radio breathed, then the actual air around us seemed to echo it, a chilling, multi-layered chorus of the same word. Lilian stumbled back, her face pale in the firelight. "We need to go, now, Neil." I was frozen. The static was gone. Now the voices were clear, though still warped. They began to speak, mimicking fragments of conversations Lilian and I had had that day. My joke about the MREs, her complaint about the hike, then it changed. It was Lilian's voice, but screaming, pleading for help, my help, from deep within the observatory. Then it was my voice, whispering secrets I had never spoken aloud, fears I barely admitted to myself. It was broadcasting our thoughts, our intimate conversations, our deepest anxieties out loud for the mountain to hear. The massive dishes above us seemed to turn imperceptibly against the wind. The central building hummed with an almost audible vibration. This wasn't just a place that picked up signals, it was a signal, and we had tuned in. Then a singular, massive voice, deeper than anything human, boomed from the radio, from the air, from the very rock of Mount Cinder. It echoed through my bones. "You listen," we broadcast. That snapped me out of it. We scrambled, not bothering to fold the antenna or pack the tent, just grabbing essentials, stumbling in the darkness. The voices chased us, not on the radio anymore, but echoing from the trees, from behind every rock. My own thoughts, Lilian's fears, distorted and screaming, becoming a terrifying symphony of our unraveling minds. We ran, tripping and falling, until we burst onto the logging road. I practically threw Lilian into the passenger seat, diving into the driver's side. The engine roared to life, and I slammed the gear into reverse, fishtailing wildly. As we sped down the mountain, the chorus of voices faded, replaced by the whine of the engine and the deafening silence of our own shock. We never reported it. Who would believe us? We told our families we got spooked by a bear, but I know what happened. Dr. Schuster didn't disappear into thin air. He became part of the broadcast. The Whisper Ridge Observatory isn't abandoned, it's merely waiting. Waiting for someone to listen in, to become another frequency on its dial. I haven't touched a radio since, but sometimes when the house is quiet, I swear I can hear a faint hum, a frequency just beyond hearing, waiting for me to tune in.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button to like it. And please do subscribe to support the channel.